Hi, this is Stephanie Miller from The Stephanie Miller Show. Please enjoy this exclusive clip from my show on Political Voices Network. You tweeted about this trial. Real talk, we know he paid her $130,000 as hush money payment, but please tell me she was paid way more than that to actually have sex with that monster.
Yes. I know people came in, they're like, no, she did that for free. And I was like, no, why?
Yeah, I mean, we were just talking about the yuck factor of this week. It's just, ew, yuck. Like, if you thought he was despicable before, I mean, it's just, because we were talking about yesterday, Tristan Snell, right? Jody was saying that, the statute of limitations has not run out for Hillary Clinton to sue for defamation, which I'm sure she won't, but she should.
I agree. Yeah.
I mean, this whole thing just made me re-angry about 2016, about how much cheating he actually did and how much help he got, right?
I mean, that's one of the things that at least is coming out in this case is that, there is testimony. He had multiple affairs. He paid the magazine to kill the stories. Like, it's just gross, but people aren't going to care about that. Or David Pecker's lying. Or I'm just sitting there thinking about Melania, and not as a victim because she signed up for all of this, but Barron probably didn't. And he's sitting there listening to, I mean, he probably has his own opinions about his, the sperm donor already, but it's, I don't care about the other crotch fruit, but Barron is still young enough to go, oh my God, this is my dad. This is gross.
Crotch fruit, which I'm just going to steal that forever. The other crotch fruit is on Fox News. Not one person, as people pointed out yesterday, Ted Bundy's family, Jeffrey Dahmer's parents were in the courtroom. He's got no one is showing up in any of these trials for him. No one in his family while he's trying to make the case. I did this to protect my family. His lawyer with a straight face said he's a family man. He was trying to protect his family. I mean, and David Pecker already. Sorry. Okay. I know you and I did not want this much Pecker this week or any week.
I definitely didn't. Let's just call him by his first name, please. Thank you very much.
But I mean, he's already laid out the whole case that this was for the campaign. This was, and it's not just to kill stories about him. It was to plant not just bad, but untrue stories about his opponents.
And this is illegal. It's not like they're like, oh, this isn't scrupulous. You're not allowed to do this. Like in a campaign, from what I understand, there's laws against literally falsifying
business records
about your opponents.
Right. Right. Yeah. And you were saying when someone says he's not nearly as orange as I thought he would be, he's more yellow. Yellow and looked really bored. That's not a compliment.
Nope, not a compliment. One of the jurors that got excused was like, he wasn't as orange as I thought, just more yellow and looked really bored. And I'm like, that's also could be diagnosable. Like, we don't know.
Pick your analogy, Dana. We keep saying whether it's the scene from Wizard of Oz, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain, or, the emperor has no clothes. But he's like the incredible shrinking Oompa Loompa. He's just being, any of these pictures, these sketches, him outside the court, he's just this sad, angry, grumpy, tired old man, right?
I think he's realizing, and that, I mean, listen, he's a sociopath, but I think there's some part of him that's realizing this might be catching up with me. Like, this might be it. One of the things that was chilling for me,
and it's only the first one. It's only the first trial.
I know.
The first week.
One of the things that was chilling for me, and I'm not sure. Please, someone in the studio verify this. I was looking at the news, and someone said that there was a text message that was released in Pecker's testimony from, at the time, Stormy Daniels' lawyer to the I believe the editor-in-chief of the Inquirer after Pecker was done, and all the text said was, "Dear God, what have we done?"
Yes. We mentioned that yesterday. What have we done? I mean, realized
that to me was more chilling than anything that these guys did. Just the dollar. They wanted the money, and then they realized, oh my God, we may have just taken down our democracy.
Yeah, I mean, Dana, in our history, this will go down. It's just the biggest reality show prank. During the first, we kept going, oh my God, is Ashton Kutcher going to pop out? We were not really giving this reality show clown, lifelong business fraud that everyone in New York knew was a fraud and a joke. We are not really giving him the nuclear codes, are we? And then here we are. You're right. I mean, the whole... But you just realize what massive amounts of election interference that Hillary Clinton, who was right about everything, shirt available at stephaniemiller.com, just the massive amounts of help. Just think of what happened in Trump Tower that we don't know. We have the Russian collusion meetings. We have this meeting, the whole National Enquirer catch and kill scheme. I mean, and none of their defenses make any sense, do they?
No, absolutely not. I mean, honestly, I feel like the lawyers he's getting at this point, obviously they're not the best people, and I just think their arguments are absurd. Some of them are
Yeah.
just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, even listening to the Supreme Court arguments when, it's, I don't even know what's going to happen there, which is a little frightening. But when you've got, Alito and Sotomayor double teaming a lawyer and making the lawyer look like an idiot, you've gone terribly wrong with your case.
Right.
Yeah.
But also some of these arguments are just terrifying. I mean, they really are. They're with a straight face. The lawyer is saying these things.
Just for the opportunity to say crotch fruit again, I'm going to say Eric Trump was on Fox News, and he's like, oh, he wasn't worried about bookkeeping. He was too busy being president. He wasn't president when this happened. No. I mean, it's just all of their arguments are so just ridiculous. The presidential immunity, that wouldn't apply anyway. He wasn't president when these crimes were committed. And so anyway, just the whole, and the other thing, Joe Biden wasn't president either. So how is this a Biden directed? This is a local prosecution, right?
Yeah, but his followers don't listen or care about facts. We know that, so it's just frustrating. Yeah. Those of us that understand what's actually happening, we know who we're already voting for, and I'm just hoping that somehow this case, it creates a situation where he is going to be an indicted, convicted felon, and let's hope that's the case because there is a percentage of people out there that voted for Haley that said if Trump is convicted, that he does not deserve to be president. So let's hope that they actually back up what they were saying and they vote for Biden.
Yeah. And meanwhile, you retweeted the Washington Post, who said Mark Meadows, Rudy Giuliani, pro-Trump electors and other allies charged in Arizona 2020 election interference probe. And you just wrote, ha, 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 good.
What else do you say at this point? It's Arizona. I mean, for God's sake, Arizona, if they keep this, I almost said a bad word. If they keep this crap up in Arizona, it's going to go deep blue, not just purple. Like Arizona's going to stay blue and go even further. Like the abortion thing, everything that's going on with the fake electors. And I was telling my co-host AG on the Beans that hopefully all of these indictments, at least they're deterrents for other people doing this bidding again in the next election, no matter what happens. And that they're seeing consequences and maybe they won't sign up for this garbage anymore.
I have left AG and Jody on a little iceberg defending Garland, and I've used my little Herbie the Dentist ice pick and pushed them off.
I don't defend him.
It made me think again, Dana, this is the fourth state now that is charging the fake elector scheme. And I still, there was a discussion on Morning Joe this morning about where was Merrick Garland on this? I don't understand that we're almost 4 years later. And where is the DOJ? I mean, obviously a lot of the states are like, okay, we're going to, go ahead with this because I don't know, do you happen to know, is it any part of the January 6th case, the whole fake elector scheme?
I actually don't know, but the only thing I can say is that I'm glad the states are charging them and not the federal government because then he can't pardon himself.
Yeah. I mean,
that's the only positive I see about this is if all of these states are the ones that are indicting people, even if God forbid, let's not even say Trump, but another Republican took office and decided to pardon all of these people because Trump somehow got to that person. Yeah. They can't do that for state charges. So I'm fine if Arizona comes with state charges and maybe the DOJ is not involved in it.
I've always thought this was the bigger story, Dana. I want to get your take, is because, calling it, peaceful tourist visit or spontaneous riot, whatever, January 6th was just the Hail Mary at the end of this whole election theft, fake elector scheme. And that's the bigger story. And I understand states going, we can't have this. We can't just say it's okay to claim you're a fake elector. We're just going to have chaos every election.
I mean, I think even the person that's in charge of elections now in Arizona, and I follow him on Twitter, but I don't think he was a Democrat at the beginning of all of this, was he? I think it's just that Kari Lake went up against him, and so he started doing the right thing. I could be wrong about that, but
Rusty Bowers.
What's that?
Oh, Rusty Bowers? Is that who you're talking about?
No. The guy that's actually Kari Lake sued him or tried to sue him, and he went after her. I'll see if I can find the name during commercial break. Yeah.
By the way, kids, Rusty Bowers is something you should only try if you're old enough and you're in love. Don't experiment with that.
With a lot of lube.
Lots of it.
Dana, we were just talking about there are at least a dozen people involved in the siege of the Capitol that are sought or seeking to hold local or national office. That is why all of these people have to be prosecuted to the fullest extent, because this is, what's this guy's name? Evans, running in his state's Republican primary for a seat in Congress. He described himself as a political prisoner. He's a newly installed member of the West Virginia House of Delegates. He live streamed himself entering the Capitol. He got a 3-month prison sentence. So he vows, when I take my seat in Congress, we will turn the tables and the hunters will become the hunted, vowing retribution. He said, if Biden is returned to office, I'm going to teach my family how to live like Amish people and get ready for the collapse of this country. I mean, you have these lunatics like out of prison that are now running to try to be part of the Capitol they tried to overthrow, right?
Right. And I do believe that it was the Supreme Court that said that only Congress can make a law saying that people that participated in the insurrection or that somehow, went against the 14th Amendment, they can only be removed from the ballots by Congress has to pass the law, and that would be the House of Representatives. So our hope here in this case is that either we get the gavel before November, which looks like a possibility if everyone keeps quitting and tries to burn the place down on their way out, or we get the House back and we pass a law within the House. We have enough votes in the Senate to make it that anyone who went to prison for this insurrection cannot run for office.
Yeah. I mean, the MAGA movement has spent the last 4 years getting a civics lesson, according to Steve Bannon. It's now maneuvered into a position where it can put what it's learned into practice. He said the right-wing movement has spent its formative years learning the rules of government and stacking low-level building blocks of government with loyalists. He said now it's time to really start making its move. The result, he said, will be an extreme political movement that will last 100 years. That's what we have to stamp out, I keep saying. Not just Trump, but Trumpism and this MAGA-ism.
Absolutely.
Because it's... Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know what's going to happen in our lifetime. I mean, I'm not going to lie. This cancer has spread so far into our country that I think it's going to take a lot to weed them out. They're not all old people that are going to die off. And I don't mean to say it like that. There's a young generation of people that he has somehow brainwashed into believing this is the right way to govern. And I don't know how we fix it, but I'm okay cutting the head of the dragon off and then dealing with the rest of the body. I'm fine starting there.
Yeah. Ooh, that was gory.